Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the iFox and Juice podcast. I am your host, Juice, and I'm here with my co-host, the $100 million contract to my Joe Rogan. Green.
I totally forgot about that. Oh, shit, man. Sorry for starting off that way, but how are y'all doing? How are you doing, Juice? I totally forgot about that. I was going to text you, so does this mean that Joe Rogan sold out, or what does this mean? Because I didn't really get into it.
Well, from the little detail, it doesn't seem that complicated. It's basically like a licensing agreement. He's going to Spotify exclusively. Spotify paid him for those rights. Show goes on as normal. Obviously, if some scandal comes up with Spotify, I'm assuming he's probably not going to be too eager to talk about it, as is with any type of agreement like that. But yeah, it seems like that's pretty cut and dry. He lent his name, and they're lending the platform.
So is he still allowed to do YouTube videos?
No, he's still gonna have a video podcast apparently, but it's gonna be only on Spotify. I guess Spotify and I think even iTunes. I think he's gonna be even off of iTunes. It's gonna be exclusively Spotify. I think when they mean exclusive, I think they mean exclusive. And Spotify has more than enough money to spread around.
Okay, so basically nothing changes. They're still going to do Fight Companions when they can, and then just the regular video broadcasts.
That's what it sounds like.
When they upload it or whatever, not like a live broadcast or anything, but I mean the Fight Companions are live, right? Yeah, those are live, but the regular interviews aren't. They upload it after the show, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so okay, good for him. Fuck, man, 100 million.
Yeah, I mean, we forget how big he is. You know, I think people in MMA forget how big he is. And then I always wondered, it's so weird to me because to me, I think the only reason I started listening to I haven't listened in a while, but the only reason I started listening to it was because of MMA. I knew he would talk about the UFC and he'd have fighters on from time to time. And then, there's some comedians I liked and then some personalities he liked, and then I kind of got more hooked. But there's people that listen to him that don't even really watch fighting, or they're like total casuals and tune into his show like every day, every week. It's
yeah,
crazy.
that's how I started listening too, because of the fighters. I want to listen to the fighters. So and then I started catching on with other people, and he started having like musicians. He even had James Hetfield from Metallica, and so yeah.
Jamie Foxx, man. He's had Jamie Foxx and Robert Downey Jr. and
unfortunately, those were like an hour-long show, though. I would
they're celebrities.
More.
Celebrities, of course, they got shit to do,
Yeah, because that would have been cool to continue listening to them talk, especially Robert Downey Jr. because just his whole story and the way he came up, and just me being a kid, watching Weird Science for the first time. Like he was on that. He was the douchebag. So he's been around for a while, and just the way he turned everything around. So
see, you know Robert Downey Jr. back when he was a cokehead, huh? I only knew him as Iron Man.
No, I know the bad boy version of that. I mean, he fell off there for a little bit and made a strong comeback with this, John Stark character, Iron Man. So pretty cool shit, man. He's better looking now, to be honest, too.
You know what? That happens with drugs too, and I've seen it especially with heroin addicts. Like if you look at I don't know if you know 9 Inch Nails, the guy from 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor. I think that dude was on heroin. If you see him now, he's fucking yoked out of his mind. He looks better than he did when he was 20.
Really? I haven't seen a recent picture of him.
Oh, dude, he's fucking jacked, and he's like 50.
Trent Reznor?
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here, really?
Yes, I'm a big 9 Inch Nails fan, so I basically followed him. I was a teenager, so I was maybe 15, 16. He was already sober at that time, and he was still kind of scrawny, but he was kind of building up a little bit. And then by the time I went to go see him live, he's just fucking jacked, man.
Really? I just remember him being that emo guy,
oh no,
dark and scrawny looking, because when I was into 9 Inch Nails. Yeah, that was way back in the day.
Nah, he'll fuck you up now.
Oh shit, I gotta look it up.
Short hair, fucking yeah, all buff. Has a kid now, which is fucking weird. Got married to
Wow.
some Filipino chick. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
She's pretty too. It's just like, oh, Filipinos, all right, man, I feel you there. I've been there, done that, man. I get it.
I thought he was gonna be a loner
I
forever or
I
something.
just I just tell you, be careful.
Shit's funny.
No offense, Ash, to the one close Filipino person I know, and I know half Filipino. Anyway, what I was gonna ask you is, I know we're saying that we're actually getting into this way more than I actually even thought we would, but since we're talking about Joe Rogan, what's been like your favorite episode or your favorite moment on the Joe Rogan experience, or most memorable, whatever?
Most memorable. I don't know. I haven't been really following it all that much. So I'm not really sure. Memorable moment. I don't know. I think the one that really always sticks out is Jeremy Stevens like talking about his past and how he was like bullied. And that's the reason why he got into fighting. That one always sticks out for some reason.
I saw that episode, but I don't remember too much about like his background and stuff. I think the thing I always remember the most is the second time they had Alex Jones around and Eddie Bravo fucked with him and he started yelling.
Oh, that's a funny moment for sure.
They're trying to kill me.
Egging him on and shit. Yeah. That's a funny moment. Crazy ass moment.
I loved it so much because it reminded me of me. I'm like, yeah, I would totally do something like that. Like someone that I know would get really amped up about shit. Just say something to piss them off because I know it's gonna be funny.
Yeah. I think something like that happened with Cameron Haynes. He was one of the fight companions, and they were like trying to get Eddie to like start with this whole, conspiracy. Yeah. Talks with Cameron there. And
I was done with the conspiracy after this week with fucking Elon Musk is controlled opposition. I was like, fucking Christ, Eddie, just let it go, dude. Let it go. Why does everything have to be a goddamn conspiracy?
Oh no. I haven't listened. No, I haven't.
Yeah, he's like, because Elon Musk is kind of these, the coronavirus ain't that big of a deal, and I'm still gonna open up and suck my dick type thing. And so Rogan and all the guys were like, "Oh, he's cool, he's awesome, he's a fucking hero," and I don't know how they started talking about him, and Eddie's like, I like Elon, I do, but my conspiratorial mind tells me, what if the government or the doctors are paying him to be like, yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna do this, and then they're like, all right, fuck it, we let them open up, and then there's gonna be like 1,000 corona deaths in like a fucking hour, and then they're gonna close everything back up, like they're gonna use them just so they could close everything back up, and even Rogan and everyone's like, oh my god, and me, I was just like, I can't do this, anymore.
Oh Lord. He's gone nuclear with it now.
I mean, I was done with
the
flat Earth shit, but
yeah.
like, oh my god, like there is not. I can literally make something else like, hey Eddie, did you know this, and this, and he'd be like, I never heard of that, but yeah, I can believe that. Fuck the government and fuck the Democrats, and like he would just believe it. He would just believe it. He doesn't even have to look into it. He would just believe it.
Yeah, I didn't see this past. I mean, I think I listened to a short clip of him talking about Tony Ferguson, but that's about it. I didn't get into it, but I did see like tweets and comments about how Eddie was going crazy, and those guys talking about Elon Musk. Now I get it. Maybe I'll listen to it. I don't know. Lately, I really haven't been wanting to listen to them talk about COVID or getting into it. You know what I mean?
Because they're so fucking weird about it, man.
Yeah.
Like that's what Eddie kept saying too. It's team freedom or team lockdown. It's like, really? Those are the two extremes. It's I'm never leaving my house, or fuck you and everyone around me, and I don't give a shit who gets sick. Like that's the only two ways to go about it. Fuck you, man. You guys are retarded.
Yeah, I thought Rogan would have kind of toned down with that, because Michael Yo was sick and he finally got on the podcast with it. But I guess, when you get together with your bros, you just hop on that same train.
And then he had Rhonda Patrick. And I apologize, I used the R word earlier. I try not to use that one, but I get animated with the Rogan stuff lately. But I'm sorry, but anyway, with Rhonda Patrick, I like her. I've listened to a lot of her podcasts. When she comes on, she's a very smart lady. Obviously, she knows what she's talking about. Obviously, takes it seriously. But Rogan kept on trying to be like, okay, but what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Like, we just take a couple vitamins here and there. We just eat some garlic and yada yada, and we'll be good, right? Like, he just kept on trying to find the angle. It's like the fat friend who's always trying to lose weight, but is going the easiest way about it. Like, okay, as long as we eat this or don't eat that's it, right? I don't have to do like crazy exercise or really watch my diet. As long as I eat this, I'll be good. Like, that's what he was going about with. It's like, Rhonda Patrick's a smart ass lady, man, and she's not just gonna bullshit you and tell you, oh, as long as you do this one thing, you'll be good.
Yeah, because she kept on saying, like, we still need to look into it. We still
Of course,
need to do
because
these.
she's a scientist.
Right. She's like, we still need to look at this. They haven't really finished the investigation on it. But yeah, I recall that. I did listen to part of that one. They were like talking about, yeah, vitamin D deficiency, and maybe that's what we need to take, or this group had issues with it and this and that. Maybe that's something that we should look into and focus on. So yeah, crazy shit, man.
I have such a crush on that lady too.
Do you follow her?
I do. I mean, I don't look at her stuff too often, but she's very pretty and she's super smart, man. I dig her.
Dude, how old is she?
I don't know, but I guarantee you she doesn't look her age.
What if she's like 70 or something?
Jesus Christ. No, I think she's like maybe in her mid to late 40s or maybe even early 50s.
Ugh, man, she still looks good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the vegetables and shit.
She had to go. She's researched everything of how to look and stay good. So good on her, man. But then again, I also like Heather Hardy, who's also just taking pictures of her with some rolls out and no makeup, and I'm like, that looks good to me too. So I'm weird.
I appreciate that. I'm so glad you sent it to me because I haven't been on Instagram in a while. And yeah, when I saw that, I was like, good for her, man. She ain't ashamed at all. Good for her. It's the way it is right now. Just gaining a little weight. She still can't go to the gym, right? Yeah, she's in New York.
Oh, yeah, she definitely probably doesn't even want to. New York is bad. But moving on from all that, that's our little intro. There's no fights this weekend, so there's no preview, but we got a rewind to do. We got some headlines. We have matchups to be determined. We will talk about that shortly. And we actually have two news stories because they were so damn weird and funny that I thought we should cover them both. So let's just get right into it. Let's start with the rewind of Walt Harris and Alistair Overeem. So starting from the bottom up of the fights that we covered, Courtney Casey fought Mara Romero Borello. I remember picking Casey. I want to say you probably did too, Reen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Yep.
I can never say her name. I apologize. And I don't want to be an asshole about it, but after this loss, she may be cut, so maybe I don't have to say her name so much. So sorry, Mara. Sorry, I'm just gonna call you Mara. Mara, she got out grappled thoroughly by Montana De La Rosa in her last fight. And that was very impressive because she's a legit grappler. But Casey took her fucking arm home with her in a couple of minutes in this one, and that was nasty, man. It was a nasty armbar and a nasty scream, and it was legit. Like, for Courtney Casey to do that, that's what I said last week going into this fight. Like, Courtney Casey is kind of hit and miss, but when she hits fucking hard, and that was proof of that last week.
When she was working on that arm, it popped, right? You heard that pop, right?
I don't know if I heard the pop, but I mean, I obviously heard the scream, and that was just a nasty angle. Like, it's been a while since I've seen an armbar that nasty.
I thought I heard a pop, and I was like, "Oh God, oh my God!" I was like kind of freaked out. I'm like, "Is it bad?" I mean, she was sitting there on the side of the cage for a while, so hopefully she's she's not too injured. But I thought I heard a pop, man. That was fucking wicked.
And remember, it was Casey. I think she submitted, I want to say Randa Marcos. She submitted her similarly to that years ago. I think she submitted her in like 2 minutes. They fucking just like got it. Because you know how Randa just starts wailing sometimes. They kind of went to the middle of the cage and just started exchanging. And I want to say Courtney kind of went for like a takedown, or she like defended a takedown of Randa's and got into like side control and got her arm in like one of those like armbar with the legs type thing. I don't know what you call those. It's an arm bar, but you do it with the legs. You like sit down and you like extend the arm with your legs locked in. It's not interesting,
Yeah, yeah.
but she made it look so easy. It was just like it's just like she was just doing it to a white belt. Like, all right, you're on the floor now, eat, and just cranked it. She tapped out right away. I think the fight only lasted like 3 minutes. Courtney Casey is a monster when she wants to be, and then obviously like the Jessica Aguilar fight. She just put it on her. She's weird that way. I don't know if it's like a motivation thing with her or just maybe she gets burned out real quick. I don't know. But when she's on, she looks like a world beater.
That's interesting. Ronda was her last finish.
Again, it was by armbar. Yeah.
Yeah, round one. Like her previous wins are either a split or, her losses were either by split or decision. I didn't even realize she was going up in weight.
Yeah, she looked real good, and that's why I kind of liked her chances. Like I had a friend ask me, "Oh, what do you think about her going up?" And I said, "I think she'll do better because I just think people do better in weight class." But I think women, especially, it's no surprises, and I don't even need to be a female to say this, but it's harder for women to make weight than men. So if you take a little bit of that difficulty out of it, you should have a better performance. Obviously, speaking in generalities here, but that would seem to be the case, and in her case seemed to work.
Yeah, she looked great. I mean, good for her, man. I thought she looked a little bit bigger than Mara too, so I mean, good for her for moving up.
Yeah, Mara's not like the biggest girl. She's solid. She probably doesn't cut too much to make it down there, but who knows? Sometimes people are weird. People are put a lot of weight even though it doesn't look like it. But yeah, that's why I think Courtney's always been big for 115, so I thought she'd be pretty decent at 125. Even if you look at someone like Joanna, who is a champion, who was a lot of people think is big for 115, and she is. When she went up to 125 with Shevchenko, you realize the size difference. Like Courtney Casey, I'm not saying she can beat Shevchenko or fight her, but if they were to fight, I don't think the size difference would be too dramatic.
No. Yep, and then how old is she now? I think she's 33. So yeah, this is a good move for her.
Next fight, our boy Marlon Chito Vera fought Song Yadong and lost a controversial split decision, and that's going to be something that we're going to talk about basically for the majority of the segment because there was many weird decisions on this night. This was one of the first ones. We'll talk in the end about this, about what should have been considered a robbery. This was a hell of a fight, first of all. Crazy fight. I haven't looked at the awards lately, but I'm hoping it got fight of the night. Do you know if it did, or had you looked into that?
Yes, because I think that's what he was complaining about. Cheetah was complaining like, yeah, I got the win bonus, but I'm still losing out on money. I got bills to pay.
Yeah.
They need to fix this. That's a fucked up decision. And I guess he was looking for Dana and Shelby right after the fight. He didn't even want to see the doctor. He was looking for them to fix it. Yeah, he's like, you need to fix this. That's why he was pissed. He's like walking out the cage. He's walking out of the cage like, where is Dana? Where is Sean Shelby? We need to fix this right now. He's like yelling.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking savage, man. He didn't give a shit. He's like, I'm not shaking your hand. Where's the bosses at? Where's my money?
He pulled a straight white woman move.
I need to see your manager. Oh wait, sorry, with the semi-Asian accent. Oops. But yeah, he was pissed, man. I don't blame him, dude. Unanimous decision? Really? What the fuck were you watching?
Was it unanimous?
Was it UD? Okay, hold on. I believe it was something crazy. Like
I believe those. I believe all the weird decisions were split. Damn, unanimous.
Unanimous.
Oof.
Yeah, they really fucked up with that one.
Yeah, obviously it's corny and stupid to say it should have been a split, but I was fully expecting a split there because I can concede that it was a close fight. Song Yadong had some moments, and yeah, he definitely at least won one round, and debatably two, but yeah, I think Vera took it. I don't know. Those guys are just straight warriors, man. It's just sometimes when you have wars like that, it's hard to judge. I definitely get Vera's frustration. I thought he won too, but when there's so much chaos like that, like I think not that the judges get all wrapped up in it, because half the time I don't think they're either watching or care too much about it. But even if you're not too interested, like you're aware, like damn, they're both landing good shots. Who do I give this to? And sometimes They probably literally do flip a coin and like, all right, fuck it, that guy.
Yeah, it was a good fight overall. It just sucks the way it ended.
We were talking earlier in the day, and looks like Marlon Vettel's one of your boys now.
He's always been one of those, like, oh yeah, when Cheeto fights, like I'm gonna watch.
Oh
You
no, of
know?
course he's must see TV, but I'm talking about in other ways with you.
Oh no, he was clean cut. He was very handsome
Ah,
this past fight. But I've seen dirty, long haired Vera. I'm fine with it too. I like both looks. Plus, he can fight.
that's a fucking fighter, man. That's a yeah, yeah. It's funny, you know. He's gotten a lot of tattoos lately too, and obviously a lot of MMA fighters have tattoos, and usually they're corny, and it's like, oh, it's part of the look. But nah, man, he fucking the way he looks is the way he fights, and that's how fucking crazy he is.
Right?
He's just a wild man.
Right? He got that neck tattoo and everything.
Mhm.
Like, he
Yep.
got the neck one on the side, like tattoos everywhere too. He loves pain, so just painful to watch him lose like this. Like it's not his fault, but yeah, don't leave it to the hands of the judges, man. I mean, granted, like he was tough too. Yadong was tough too. So
Yeah, that's the thing is like as much as we maybe not like the decision, Song Yadong's a tough motherfucker, man. We got to give that guy props, even if we don't think he won. Like, hey, he withstood it. Most people wouldn't have been in there that long with Vera the way that he was throwing. And then obviously with Vera, we all know he's got a iron chin.
yeah,
And
and that kid's only 22 still. So
yeah,
yeah, robbery.
this is two weird decisions too for Yadong. It was a draw last time with Stamen, but a lot of people thought Stamen clearly won that fight. I don't know. Once I start seeing that shit, I feel weird. Okay, so the next fight is Barboza, but I'm actually going to skip to Angela Hill just because it segues into this. We'll get back to Barboza in a minute, but Angela Hill lost the fight with Claudia Gadelha, and we were talking about Courtney Casey earlier. Courtney Casey fought her last year, and Courtney Casey won that fight, and most people didn't think she should have won that fight. So there's also this side of the coin too. Fighters who get in close fights and never win decisions. Like Masvidal was on that boat for a long time, and then you look at fighters like Benson Henderson or Eddie Alvarez. If there was a close decision or a fight they probably should have lost, they usually won. So it's weird how judges either. I'm not gonna say they have favorites, but there's these fighters that get real good luck, and then there's other ones that just doesn't matter how close or how obvious the fight is, they're usually not going to win a decision.
Yeah, it's sad, man. Just based on their fighting style, judges, looking at their phones, maybe. I don't know what it is. It's just odd that we've had these decisions they made, like the 3 fights that we were covering. Like, what the fuck happened here? It was a good card, but judges, man, you fucked it up.
You know what's funny too, that it's actually interesting. Of a lot of people would talk about with the problems with judging and scoring that, oh, okay, they should be in a secluded room. The fans are too much. The commentators, like, it's too much noise. It's too much chaos going on. It's like, there's no fans now. You could hear all the coaching. They're right there. And they're still having these weird decisions. So it's like, a lot of people thought that the fans were a big component of it. And now it's like, you're just watching the fight. That's all you have to watch. There's no outside stimulus, no other distractions, and it's getting weirder. It seems in the past week, it seems to have gotten weirder.
Were they using the same judges as prior?
I want to say that for the Ferguson Gagey card, they did. I didn't pay attention to this one, to be honest with you. I did not pay attention that they were all the same judges, but I think with Ferguson Gagey, they did. And I understand, given the pandemic, you don't want to have too many people in the arena, which is obviously the safe thing to do. If you're going to be safe, that's a way to go about it. But it can also be tiring that they switch judges out for a reason, because they don't want them to be complacent. It's like, fuck it, red guy wins. Yeah, blue guy wins. Like, it's like they just don't give a shit after a while because it's like, fuck, I've been watching fights for like 7 hours straight already.
Mm-hmm, right. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess I could get that part of it, but I mean, if that's just because of the pandemic, then I guess we're just gonna have to deal with this shit, and they're just gonna get bored or angry or complacent and just say fuck it. Maybe that's what we got to look into that and see maybe with the next fights too, whatever's coming up in the next few weeks, see if that's what they're gonna continue. Especially if they do go to Vegas, I do wonder. Like it's very irritating because it makes it seem like there's no hope. Like okay, with the crowds they suck, without a crowd they suck. So what the fuck do we do?
Shitty ass judges. I don't know, because if you put in former fighters into that position, now people think that they might favor, the fighter that they used to train with, or they know this group of fighters or whatever. Like
there's so many ways to go about that with the way it could go wrong. It's not just maybe they trained with him, maybe they fought him, so there's like okay, I know what he's doing here, so they looking at a more technical aspect. They're like, oh, okay, well, I know he's bad at this, or I know he did that, and he didn't do that against me, and yada yada. And then obviously there's fighters that you don't like, so you can judge against them. And then styles too, like okay, if you're the judge, whoever this fighter is, like a Damian Maia type, if he's watching a fight and the guy that he's watching fight is a jiu-jitsu black belt, he's probably going to go with the jiu-jitsu guy because he understands that more than striking. And
exactly,
there's so many ways to go about it. It's always going to be imperfect, but it's just, like I said, frustrating that even in the midst of change, that's a constant shitty judging.
Yeah, still can't get it right. So what can you do? I don't know, have Elon Musk like create a robot that could do all the judging?
Oh God, Elon. Try to say that name a few times, you'll get tongue tied.
Or the kid's name, the baby's name.
Don't even get me started.
Archangel, Ash Archangel.
Why? Yeah, never mind. I'm not even. Obviously, we kind of let the cat out of the bag. We were going for Angie. We're fans of hers. We're going with her last week. I legitimately thought she could win this fight. I'm sure you did too, and she didn't. But this seemed to be the one that people were the most egregious about. That she clearly won. This is the one that like everyone was screaming robbery about.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I think that too, because I was going for Angie. But just watching it, I'm like, no, she won that fight. I mean, Claudia looked good. She looked better, especially like better than that Ronda Marcos fight. I mean, she didn't engage at all. I mean, with Hill at least, I mean, she was like taking it to her. But yeah, I mean, if you look at Angie Monday, not a mark on her. If you probably look at Claudia right now, like she's probably still fucked up. I mean, she did a lot of damage. I was surprised. I'm like, what the fuck? Wasn't this a split? It wasn't a unanimous, I don't think.
This was a split. Yeah. I remember this one clearly, yes.
So yeah, this is another one. I'm like, okay, man, how dare you? I think she took the third. She stole the third. Claudia took the first one.
Yeah, this is one. Yeah, exactly. This is one of those fights that it's so easy to tell where it went wrong. First round, clearly Claudia, no debate. Second round, clearly Angie, no debate. Third round is when it's like, okay, what do you think? And I definitely see the case for Angie. I mean, she landed more and she was more active. Claudia had her moments and Claudia hits hard, so she landed pretty hard at times. With me, and I don't know how many people think like this, but to me, it's who's leading the dance. Of course, being effective, being efficient is very important, but when it's close and they're both landing and one has more volume and one has more power, it starts to get into kind of like subjective territory of like, what do you value more? But to me, I think a good way to go about it is movement and who's doing what they want. I guess in that case, the octagon control, who's the one moving, who's the one implementing their game plan. And from what I saw in the third round, Angie was fighting and doing what she wanted, and Claudia was fighting back and even if she was going off, she was being defensive because she was fighting back. She wasn't exactly getting off all the shots she wanted. So because of that, I kind of gave it to Angie. But I mean, I can see the case for Claudia, but I just don't think it's a very good one.
No, not at all. Because I mean, Hill in the third round, late in the third round, she started utilizing her kicks too. I mean, she was doing everything she can to make sure that she won that round. I mean, before she didn't do that because she didn't want to be taken down. But, I mean, that was it for her. She needed this win. That would have put her in a really good spot. So she utilized all her weapons. And I think it's bullshit that she got this win taken away, because this was a really good fight for her.
Yeah, this was a big fight. Breaks your heart. I totally get it. I will say though, of this night, we skipped it over. I said we were gonna come back. So I gotta say, I think from the fights that I saw, I think Barboza and Ige was the most egregious decision. I don't see how Ige won that fight. That's the one where I'm like, if you're gonna call one a robbery, I think that's the one that has the most accurate label.
I think I have to watch that fight again then.
Oh yeah, you thought Ige won?
I thought it could have been either or. Yeah, Ige was taken down, and Barboza was ground and pounding him in the first round. So yeah, that was clearly his round. But Ige was fighting from the bottom position too.
Don't get me wrong, with like with all these fights, these were all incredibly close fights, and this is one of them too. Because there was times where I was like, yeah, I'm not sure, but it was one of those things that when the fight was over, when the final horn sounded, I was like, I'm pretty sure Barboza took that. I started looking at the feel of the fight, and Ige is very good, and I was quite confident that he would beat Barboza actually. But Barboza kind of put the fear of God in him with those kicks, and he was landing real hard, some good body shots too. And you saw it pretty early on, like within a minute or two, he was kind of like, yeah, I'm not so eager to fight like this anymore. He wasn't so quick on the trigger like he should have been. So just the fact that Barboza impeded him in that way, I was like, okay, Barboza did a really good job. Ige had his moments for sure. He definitely could have won a round or two, but I felt like Barboza did the more damage, I guess.
Okay, I gotta watch it again because I just felt like Ige was more active. He was landing really hard shots too. A lot of them. I was surprised because you're going up against Barboza. Fuck, man. And yeah, I just gotta watch it again, I guess, because I thought it could have went either or, but I kind of get it. And then just listening to him too talk about it, I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm not bad at it, but at the same time, maybe because like I expect more from Barboza, maybe that's what it is.
See, and with me, I expected more out of Ige. So I think maybe because I was slightly disappointed in him, I kind of gave it more to Ige. I mean, to Barboza, and maybe you're the other way around on it. Because that was the thing with all, like I said, all these fights were close. With Vera and Hill, when those fights were over, I'm like, shit, this is kind of I feel I know who won, but I can see if either person wins, I'm not going to be surprised. Barboza was the only one where I'm like, nah, Barboza should take this. Like, I don't really see a way that Ige won this. That was like the only one where I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. Where the other ones, I was kind of like, I could see it. It's probably not going to be good, but I can see it.
Yeah, I think I was being a little asshole too watching it because I'm like, dude, you're 155er. You're going on 145. And Dan Ige is not even like, he's a little guy at 145.
I tend to do shit like that sometimes too. I didn't do it for this one. He didn't look good off the start too. He kind of got clocked early on, but he came back good, and I guess that's what impressed me too. Like, oh shit, you're probably a little bit more depleted. Probably would have. A lot of people get knocked out in these type of situations. Look at T.J. Dillashaw and Henry Cejudo, but he powered through it and he came back. One thing I will say, now that you mentioned the weight cut, I do find it weird that Barboza is basically threatening to not go back down if he doesn't get his win bonus. That I've never heard of that one. That's a first.
Oh, was that after the fight?
I don't know if he said it at like the press conference or he said it like with Hawani or some kind of other show a few days later. But yeah, he said like, if the UFC doesn't get my pay, I'm not gonna go back to featherweight, which I don't understand how that's a threat. They're probably even welcome it because it's like, all right, we know you're probably gonna be better at featherweight than you would at lightweight, so we'll just put you to lightweight where you're for sure gonna lose.
Yeah, that's odd. Like, what?
He went down for a reason. He was saying that he was a little too small for lightweight and that he was barely, he actually had to gain weight to even make it. So I don't know. Do what you want, man. But I don't know how that's a threat to them.
Okay, man.
Especially now, man, with the pandemic, that so many people are scared to fight and so many people want to fight. Like, they're just looking, oh, you don't really want to fight? Okay, we can just cut you too because, there's plenty of people who want to fight now. And it's not like our parent company Endeavor didn't just get its rating basically rated a fucking junk bond. But, yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting up there in age. On paper, he's on a 3-fight losing streak.
Yeah.
So if you want to piss Dana off, I mean,
Careful with your negotiation tactics.
right? Because on paper, you don't look too good right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep in mind where you're at and what you've brought to the table lately. And gotta keep that in mind. Moving on to the main event. So I lied last week. I said that I was not gonna watch this live. I watched the Sports Center thing that happened on Friday, the special on Walt Harris, and it was very powerful. And that kind of brought me some emotions that I thought would bring me of sadness and some tears, to be honest. But I don't know. I woke up that morning, I was still contemplating it, and then once fight night hit, I'm like, I think I'm gonna watch it. I think I'm gonna suck it up and watch it. And I'm expecting that something's gonna go wrong, or I'm gonna just not have the greatest night. And sure enough, that's what happened. But I will say this: in being sad about Walt Harris's loss to Alistair Overeem, I gained a tremendous amount of respect for Alistair Overeem that I did not think was possible. I've never liked Alistair Overeem. I really never have. And I thought he possessed all the qualities in a fighter that I don't like. Like personally, he just seemed kind of like a dick. I know that doesn't really matter too much. It's just thinking like I don't really like the guy. And then his PD history and the fact that he was just a total front runner. I mean, you hit Alistair Overeem in the face hard enough, he'll just fold up and kind of quit. And he kind of has a glass jaw. So I was like, this guy has nothing going for him that I'm interested in. But in this fight, he showed heart, showed tenacity, showed determination, and he showed a lot of compassion for Walt Harris after the fact. And I gotta say, I have a lot of respect for Alistair Overeem now, and he won me over.
Finally, finally. I love Overeem. It was tough for me to watch because I do love Overeem, but just the story behind, Walt Harris and God, and just this fight. We waited for so long to finally watch this fight and, for him to come back. And yeah, it was tough to watch. Like, I really wanted Walt to win, even though I love Overeem. But he looked great there for a minute or two, and yeah, made a mistake, and Alistair just jumped on his back, and that's a big man to try to carry around. Yeah, it was tough to watch. Just, oh my God, that image is in my head again, Juice. Fuck. I'm about to get emotional again.
It was touching, and I don't know maybe it was just because I've been so deprived of fights lately that I finally decided to pull the trigger and watch it. Watch this main event, even though I didn't really want to leading up to it. There was something about, although that it sucked that he lost, there was something like, okay, there's no hiding from this. This is as honest and as real as it gets, as the UFC slogan goes, as real as it gets. Walt lost, and obviously he was upset. As much credit and as much respect as I have for Overeem for how he handled his business in and out of the cage for this one. A lot of respect for Walt Harris too, for just being a man, being a gentleman about it, and just owning up and, hey, no excuses. I tried, and I'll be back. And I respect that, especially given his situation. But as hard as it was to watch, I'm glad that he didn't get like really, really beat down. Although the stoppage was a bit iffy, maybe could have been stopped earlier. He didn't get like brutally, brutally beaten. The ref gave him his chance, and I think everybody was just there, like, all right, we got to give this guy a way to fight back because he's got a lot in him. But we talked about this before we went on airing. But to me, it seemed like Walt kind of went in there to be, kill or be killed. He went in there trying to knock Overeem out and knew that if he couldn't, that would probably be the end of him. I don't know if that was just a product of him being kind of a young fighter and not having that IQ yet, or if it was more emotions because of not just the stuff with Anaya, but the pandemic, probably not getting like a good camp in. What do you think about that? Do you think he went in there with that mentality, or do you think it's just because he's a young fighter, or you think he just had a lot to go into a cage fight with?
Well, I mean, you're fighting a vet like Overeem. It's Overeem. It's tough. I know. I mean, lately he's just been looking great. Yeah, he had that knockout by what? Rosenstruck, right?
Yeah, the lip.
Yes. Oh my God. Fuck that image. Yeah, I also think that it's emotions and also a pandemic.
Yeah.
There's so much going on with him. So yeah, I think it's a lot of things overall. It just sucks, man. Like, what, his past 2 fights were finished in under 2 minutes, and it looked like it was going to happen again with this one, but no.
Well, this is something I wasn't surprised by, but I didn't know heading into the fight. They mentioned it when they were stepping into the octagon that all of Walt Harris's wins has been knockouts. I don't know if they're all first round, but they're very quick finishes. Maybe he just is unaware how to win a decision and how to go the distance, and obviously Overeem does.
Mm-hmm.
But again, yeah, he had a lot of emotions. Only so much can be done. And then obviously, yes, fighting in a pandemic. Just the training in itself is a bitch. How do you, a lot of people aren't even sure how they're going to train. They're not even sure what they're going to do that day. They're just going to the gym or going to the garage and figuring out what to do. Right now, it really is as real as it gets. Ironically enough, in a fucking pandemic, like you got a heavy bag, doing push-ups, doing some weights, like you can't really train appropriately, which sucks. But it's like it's showing these guys how much of a fighter are you. Like, if this is basically as close to a street fight as you're gonna get, because you're not really prepping too much.
Yeah, you can't train the way you used to. In his case, he still has, emotional baggage, and then there's more death, right? He had to deal with death in his family. Now there's more death around him. Like, he can't escape it.
Yeah, that's got to take its toll. I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, you're right. That must be terrible, man. But obviously our hearts go out to Walt Harris, and I have no doubt, even with all this shit, I don't know how quickly he could or should come back. Obviously, that shit's dicey with anybody and everybody in the company, in the sport, in life right now. But I know regardless of when it is, he'll be back. He'll be good. He'll be good. It's a lot to come back to. Maybe he had to get that out of the way. Like, he knows what he's made out of. Just the fact that he stepped in there is
huge.
That shows a tremendous amount of heart, and I think he's a winner just for doing that, man, because he set out to do, trying to live a normal life, and in his words, fighting for his stepdaughter. Good on him, man. He knows that what he's made out of. He didn't quit in that fight. He just got overwhelmed, and it's a shitty situation, but he'll be back, and I have no doubt about that. Yeah, it ended on a sad note. No way we can't end that segment on a sad note, so apologies for that, but feelings that we were all kind of having on Saturday night. So let's jump from the rewind and get into some headlines. First up, to go with more fucked up, sad news. We talked last week about Khabib Nurmagomedov's dad being sick. I guess he had a heart attack. And as we were recording last week, and as we mentioned last week, he was recovering, he was on the road to recovery. And I guess it got bad again. And now he's in a medically induced coma, and he's basically on life support and fighting for his life. And it looked like these problems were started by coronavirus. So terrible situation. I mean, we've kind of had our things to say about Khabib here and there, but Jesus Christ, man, you gotta feel for the guy here.
Right. He didn't want to take on that fight with Tony Ferguson during a pandemic because he was concerned for his family. He stayed put, and his dad is sick. It's sad.
It's like the Jacare thing. Obviously, Jacare himself got sick. I don't know who in his family had gotten sick that exposed him. Sounds like Jacare's doing okay, but yeah, there's that. Rose Namajunas, remember, she was supposed to take a fight, and she pulled out because several people in her family died. And then Khabib also said that, like 50 people in his village around him got sick?
Yes.
Apparently it's very bad over there. Or at least in his neck of the woods.
It's the second leading country now. We're the first leading. Russia is the second.
Russia, really? Shit, so they got it. Yeah, because remember when it first started, like, wait, they're lying about their numbers. How come, like, nobody has it? But I guess they're just late to the game. I guess they're, like, haven't even hit their peak or anything yet. This just probably just getting started with them.
Yeah, I think so.
And then Brazil's the third now, right?
I don't know what their true numbers are, because who knows?
Yeah.
Their government, the president is. I'm surprised he's not sick. He's not sick, right? He's still going out and doing his thing.
Putin?
No. The Brazilian president.
Oh, I haven't kept up with him too much. I know he was kind of one of those it's not that big a deal type things. He's a hardcore right winger. I do
Yeah.
know that about him, but I haven't kept up with him too much. I don't. You know what though? That dude also survived a stabbing in the lead up to the election. I'm not saying this to say that he's this tough guy or nothing. I mean, it happened. So, given that that shit happened to him, he's probably like not too worried about getting sick because he
Uh,
survived the stabbing. Not saying that's smart. I'm just saying that's probably his mentality.
Crazy man. Well, Khabib and his family try to take every precaution and avoid getting sick. So fuck you to everybody that talks shit about Khabib staying at home and trying to be safe because this shit is real. His dad is in a medically induced coma now.
And if any of you haven't read or seen or shit believe whatever anything these articles talk about, well, it's just in health in general, but especially regarding this, like once you're on a respirator, the odds that you'll come out of it are not good. And he's on a respirator, a coma, life support. I mean, this does not look good at all.
I don't think Khabib will come back if his father passes away.
Ever? You don't think he'll ever come back?
I don't think so. Because his daddy is his main coach.
Yeah, and he still lives with his parents. I mean, but that's just the way it is in Dagestan and a lot of countries around there. I mean, especially with Muslim families, they stick together.
He probably would have to take care of the family, take care of his mom, and that's going to be his priority because his dad's not going to be there if he does pass away. And
I mean,
fighting, it won't be as important to him anymore, I don't think.
I mean, he's kind of alluded, and I believed him when he said that he'll probably retire sooner rather than later, and I believe him too that he has a lot of money, given his connections to Putin and just the McGregor fight, just that fight alone. I know it's brought him a lot of money. God knows how. Those are rumors that he was made 10 million or something for the Poirier fight. Who knows if that's true? But at the same time, that did happen in Abu Dhabi. God knows they have all the money in the world. So I do not think that Khabib's going to be hurting for money. He can retire today, and I'm pretty sure he'll probably be set for life.
Yeah.
So you might have a good point there. It's just, I don't know. That's just such a competitor. I know there's more important things to him in his life than fighting, but he's such a competitor. I guess maybe as an American, it's tough for me to see because our thing is always like keep moving. Like in the case of Walt Harris, like keep moving, keep doing your job. You gotta kind of lead a normal life in one way or another.
Yeah, but he grew up in that part of the world. It's like money doesn't matter. The village matters. People are going to help each other out,
Yeah, obviously very different cultures, and I understand that. It's just I'm saying this from my own perspective and my upbringing and my culture, I guess.
Yeah, like he's not gonna give a shit. Like you can have all the money in the world, like COVID's gonna get you. It's not important. Look at what we're going through right now. Like I think that's where he's at right now. Like he'll give all the money back to have his dad back.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like this was not worth it. Like it just sucks, man. I bet they're going through a lot right now. Him and his team.
For sure. So all the thoughts and hope and prayers and whatever to Khabib's dad, because that's some shit, man. Hey, I know Matt Hughes had his background and he was in a terrible accident. I was convinced, I'll be honest, I was convinced when Matt Hughes got hit by that train, I was convinced he was dead. I was like, he's not getting out of this. He's gonna be a vegetable, or he managed to find a way out of it. Khabib's dad is a fucking warrior, and I know with what happened with Matt Hughes is basically a miracle, and shit could happen with this dude too. But I have hope, but the likelihood of it I know is kind of slim. So hope everything is good, man.
Yeah, say what you want about his religion, what he says, or what, like his dad is in the hospital. Like I bet he's getting the best care in the world because He has Putin behind him, but
Yep.
even with that, it's tough. Oh, a week ago we thought he was going to be cool. No, not at all.
Yep. And things that people have said about this disease too, about this virus, it seems like that's kind of common too. Some people seem okay one day, and all of a sudden, like shit, who knows now? Moving on from that, the UFC, MMA. Well, I can't even say MMA. The UFC made it onto, I guess, kind of mainstream news. John Oliver, the show last week tonight on HBO. He covered sports. I actually watched this live when it was happening. I saw the airing of the episode, and as soon as he put that graphic up of sports, I was like, okay, I know what's gonna happen here. And sure enough, he talked about the UFC and kind of roasted Dana White and Fight Island, and it was a very interesting segment just in general. She was talking about all sports, about how and when and should they come back. And of course, when you're asking questions like that, you can't ignore. But even if you don't know shit about MMA or wrestling, you're gonna find out, hey, some sports have already happened, and it was the WWE and the UFC. And yeah, of course, he even talked about the Jacare positive test, and he went on to roast Dana for Fight Island. And I got to be honest, I felt pretty stupid watching it.
Why?
Because I mean, I'm not saying I was like a mark for like Fight Island or anything, but I'm not gonna lie and say that like the idea isn't kind of cool. You know, the fact that a bunch of fighters are just gonna go to this remote island to fight, like just the idea of it's cool. But the fact that he said like Fight Island is such a stupid name, why couldn't you go with like Brawlhamas or Owie Maui? Or the most obvious one, UFC SEA. When he said the UFC one, I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. How did I not think about that?
Oh my god. I only saw a small segment of it and I'm like, holy shit, man. Dana, you got this shit. You are going to be the biggest sport in 2020. Like, you got everybody talking about the UFC now.
Okay, so obviously, I don't know if this is your take or you're speaking on behalf of Dana, but it seems like you're under you fall under the moniker of that. There's no such thing as bad press. All press is good press.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially now, like there's nothing else going on. So why wouldn't you be curious? Like you listen to this guy, you follow this guy or whatever. You know, John Oliver, like his Emmy award-winning show. You would be curious to see what's going on because there's nothing else, playing. Yeah. There's no NASCAR, there's no football, there's nothing. You would be curious? It's a great marketing scheme, like, or whatever you want to call it. Like, because, I mean, he had us fooled. We really thought that this was going to go down. Fight Island, he has secured an island. But no. He's gonna go kick it back to the Apex and save some money.
So you think it was all a ruse? You think he just made up the whole Fight Island thing so people could talk about it?
I think so. If not, it definitely went in the right direction. Right?
I actually think he did mean it. I think I mean, did he buy the island or did Endeavor buy the island? I don't know.
Hell, they got no money.
No, but they got credit, and that's all that matters in America.
That's true.
It is shit credit. It is it's not good at all, but that's all that matters right now. But no, I actually think that I don't know if he actually had it, bought it, but I think that was the plan because they didn't know. It's like, all right, international waters, we got to go where there's no rules because America's all shut down, and obviously things are opening back up now, so things are looking up. But man, I hope that they didn't buy it because fuck, he just wasted a shitload of money because it looks like he just could get he could have obviously got it done in Florida because it already happened, and then if things start looking up, yeah, I guess he's gonna stay in Vegas.
Maybe Fight Island was Florida because I mean, come on, really an island? You had us believe in that, but can you imagine like there's no hospitals, there's nothing. He didn't mention any kind of medical facility. He mentioned, yeah, the hotels, there'll be places to stay, this and that, but nothing about making sure that the fighters will be okay. Are they going to be airlifted to a hospital or something?
You know what? Now that I hadn't even thought about that, that's a really good point. Like, there's a shortage of PPE and critical condition, intensive care units and beds and all this type of shit. It's like, man, how many beds would you have to get out there just in case? And then obviously just the injuries that come with the fight to stitch people up and fix a broken hand and all that type of stuff. Like, yeah, you're not just gonna have like a few tents out there that, oh, okay, you got corona, or no, you don't. Okay, get the hell out of here. Like, I mean, they could have done that, but they shouldn't.
Right? Cool. Can you imagine like going to Fight Island and you're stuck on an island with Jacare?
Yeah. Telling you, it would have been the Fire Festival for the UFC.
Like, I think he was just making this shit up because he knew something was going to go down. He's friends with Trump. They're not going to keep this shit closed forever.
You think he had insider information then because he talks to Trump? You think Trump talks on like, hey, you might have some good luck with such and such and this stage. Just hold on and you'll be able to go on as normal.
I'm not accusing nobody of anything, but those senators dropped a lot of stock.
Well,
there was that incident that people
different.
talk. Well, still, people talk. That's the point. People talk. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, cousin. Hey, brother-in-law. You need to get in on this too. I'm pretty sure, man, bros talk all the time.
Oh, believe me. Yes, I know. I know they do. That's why, and I'm speaking about my line of work in particular, but this whole thing of like the stereotype of women gossiping and the nail salon and the beauty shop and all that. I'm sorry, Rain, but you women ain't got nothing on how much men gossip.
I bet, man. I bet this whole pandemic is like showing a lot about people.
Oh, I've known this shit for years. Like I said, in my line of work, oh man, you want to start a rumor, shit, by the end of the day, that person will hear it.
But, I bet. Yeah, because guys are always talking, especially like if you're doing construction work and working on houses, they're always talking. Oh. There's nothing else to do but talking.
The blue, especially, that's the even more funny part. The blue collar type. Those are the ones that are the most talkative. Those are the ones that are most, as we say in Spanish, the chismosos, the gossipers.
Yeah, so I believe it, man. But good marketing ploy. Good marketing.
You're always looking at the marketing, huh?
Come on, there's always something with Dana. He's always a couple of steps ahead, or he'll say something crazy. He's just like Trump, like you said.
Well, he's definitely been doing his best imitation of him lately, especially with the press and stuff. But that's a subject for another day. So I guess on the topic of Dana, seems like he's saying that the next card, which is happening next weekend, May 30th, which I believe is supposed to be the Tyron Woodley and Gilbert Burns fight, is supposed to take place in Vegas, in Las Vegas, at the UFC Apex. So it looks like they're going to get a jump on that pretty soon. I don't know what the status is with the state, with the commission, with opening up of businesses. I don't know. I know with like how John Oliver was talking about the sports, it has been a national conversation, whether it's because Trump has brought it up or just people wanting sports back, and then also just seeing, honestly, just being objective about it, sports bring in a lot of money, and not just for the network. I mean, how many people work in stadiums and arenas and security guards that work around those types of areas and restaurants that are around there? And I mean, they see the ripple effect of sports and events being canceled. So we're not going to have a lot of hope with concerts and stuff right now. So sports is the only way to go. I guess to go back to the Fight Island thing, Dana said he's going to do Fight Island because of the international travel, right? Because a lot of foreigners couldn't come in.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So now I don't know how many foreigners are getting booked here, but that's a question of like, can they get into Vegas? Because that's getting into the States.
Yeah, I think Melissa Gatto, she's like an up and comer. She was going to debut on this card, or no, the June 13th card. So yeah, she still has time, but Brazil's consulate is still shut down, I believe. So I'm not even sure if she could even secure a visa to fight at the Apex.
Yeah, again, the third leading country right now.
So, I mean, And yeah, Dana is not even sure that he'll be allowed to use the Apex. So
Damn, well, I was gonna say, isn't that his building? But then again, if the government says fuck you, no
yeah,
events. So
no NAC, like no NAC people.
yeah,
How are you gonna have a fight?
you know what the thing, especially with the NSAC, since they are a government body. I mean, the government, the senators, the counselors, whoever can say, okay, we're opening back up. That doesn't mean that NSAC wants to. The employees, especially with the positions that they have in the state, be like, hey, we don't want to. We still don't think it's safe. We don't want to work. Okay, if they want to do it, fine. But there's not going to be any refs, any judges, any doctors. We're staying home.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that possibility too.
Crazy, man. So like these guys, they have like these potential fights coming up, but it's still up in the air for them, for them too.
Yeah,
like they're not sure. They're not sure where they're gonna fight. Like, why didn't they just stay in Florida until Las Vegas opened up? I don't understand.
Yeah, we're kind of back to square one again, and I think you're right about the whole insider info stuff with Trump and them. Like, yeah, he's got to know something that we don't. Speaking of the Fight Island and the events being canceled and going back to square one and all that, I remember when 249 originally got canceled, the one that was supposed to take place at Tachi Palace, supposed to take place here in California. I spoke to my girlfriend and she told me that she thought, she didn't say this was the reason, but she had an idea of why also it could have been canceled aside from Newsom and Disney and all the people talking shit. She's like, there's a possibility too that maybe the refs don't want to officiate it because they don't want to put themselves at risk. And they probably don't know the protocols and stuff. And when she told me that, I was like, I can buy that. Obviously, now we see that basically all the refs are working, usually not even wearing a mask or anything. But yeah, that's the thing too, that just because things are working in certain places, again, like with the commission, and it doesn't mean that they're going to be cooperating fully.
Well, I think it was after, they called that off. I started seeing like news articles about how some of these tribes are starting to really get affected because of this virus.
Yeah.
So maybe that's another reason too.
Maybe they started getting cold feet.
Yeah, it's a possibility because it was just starting, and there's a huge concern for it, and so crazy.
What's funny too, obviously there's the history of natives, Native Americans and disease in this country. No surprise, no secret. But my girlfriend also told me something too that was interesting. This doesn't really have to do with fighting, but things that affect people in certain areas of this country. She lived in Arizona for a while. She went to school there, and she tells me that, I mean, I know when you go to school, you need your immunizations, you need your vaccines because they don't want kids to get sick. I thought once you're 18, that kind of is over because you don't really get vaccinated after 18 unless it's like a flu shot. I thought that was like, okay, you go to college or whatever, that's on you. You assume that everyone's vaccinated anyway. But apparently in some parts of Arizona, or I don't know if the whole state, they still check your immunization records going to colleges sometimes because there is a Native American population there. Yeah, because of the history of it, they're like, no, if you're not immunized and there's a Native American student, like, we're not taking that risk. It's basically like elementary school, like, basic education is like the same thing in higher education in Arizona because of Native American population.
Interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah, me either. I was like, what the? But yeah, apparently, as crazy as Arizona is, because I was talking last week about Arizona white people, they do some things that are like surprisingly progressive. So
yeah. I mean, can they like teach us all the importance of making sure that we take care of ourselves? And I mean, if you don't want to be vaccinated, cool, but can you at least wear a fucking mask?
The mask thing is really weird right now too, because see, I don't know how it is right now over there in Sacramento, but here in LA, we have to wear them basically everywhere now. A few weeks ago, it was just in businesses. Now, even outdoors, you have to wear them. How is it over there? Is it required in Sacramento?
No.
How
it's
about,
not a requirement.
How about when you go out? I mean, I know Costco is doing the thing that they're requiring all their employees and customers, but when you've gone out, do you see many people wearing masks?
Not all the time.
Like if in a given wherever you may go, whatever store you may have gone to, whatever, how many percentage wise, when we think how many people are actually wearing masks, like as a percentage?
Oh my God. Maybe 50-50. I don't know.
Okay.
It's less. I mean, maybe I'm being generous, but what concerns me is the little kids with no masks.
Okay, here's the weird part. It's interesting you say that. Here in LA, as I said, we're required to wear a mask, except children.
What?
Yeah. I don't know if it's because they're seeing that kids aren't really affected by this, so they're like, okay, they don't need to. But there's also these weird stories that are coming out, especially like in New York, that kids are starting to get sick with something that they suspect is COVID related.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to change soon. I'll say around my part, from what I've seen around my neighborhood and just walking about, at least half of kids are wearing masks. Take that as you will, I guess. But yeah, that's the thing. That was explicitly like everyone must wear a mask except for kids.
See, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, there's been deaths, right? We've had like little infants die because of this. So yeah, regardless, like, yeah, my kid is wearing a mask, and I think all children should too. And this was prior to finding out the kids that were having issues with the, the COVID related. That shit looks scary. No, I'm not taking chances with my child. There's no fucking way in hell. So if we do go to a store, I have him wear a mask. But maybe we've gone to the store together twice, and that's it. Because I don't want to take him to the store. I try not to. I mean, we're trying to follow the rules and make sure we don't get sick because it's still going around. I see numbers all the time. Like one weekend, I was like, oh, great, there's no numbers. But I'm like, well, it's the weekend, so maybe they're not reporting anything. I mean, we have maybe an average of 5 cases, but it's still going around. So I'm not going to take chances with my child. But I'm just surprised that LA, it's not a requirement.
Yeah, and maybe they think that, okay, maybe you can just stay home with your kid if you have that worry. But also, yeah, what if you're a single mom and you got to go to the grocery store and there's no one to take care of your kids? Like, well, you're going to have to take them then. In that case, you should have a mask for them, but it's not a requirement. No one's going to tell you anything about it. And I've still seen people outdoors without masks and not seen any cops stopping them or, like, I don't know. I don't know how strictly they're enforcing it, but it seems like most people are following the rules.
Yeah.
People, yes, you're right. People are very bitchy about it. We've talked about this a lot off air, especially me being an essential worker, having to wear a mask 8 hours a day, customers coming in, not being able to wear it for 10 fucking minutes without bitching about it. I'm not having it anymore. Fucking sick of this shit. Yeah, I get it. I get it's an inconvenience. As always with all this shit. It's a fucking inconvenience for you, but get the fuck over it. If you don't like it, stay home.
Right. I mean, I'm trying to protect myself and others too, because I don't know. Maybe I have it. I don't know. This is all new to everybody. And there's reports now coming out that it's just contact, person to person contact. That's the only way you can get it. You can't get it off of surfaces.
Yeah, I've kind of been noticing that too. I was like, I kind of started thinking that like after a month, I was like, I think we'd have way more cases if that was the case.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's a number of people who probably got it that way, but it was like someone literally sneezed on it or near it 2 minutes before they got there, and they got there and then fucking rubbed their hand on their face or something, like some extreme circumstance like that. Yeah. But yeah, I did think that is the most likely thing, like being close to someone that's sick.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're still learning. This is all still foreign to us. So yeah, hell yeah, man. I'm wearing a mask. It should be required, but hey, freedom is more important.
This isn't Asia, Reen.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We don't all just wear masks just because people tell us to.
Yeah, and we don't wear shoes in the house either.
Yeah, watch, that's gonna be the next requirement. In that case, I'm leaving this goddamn country. I want my shoes in my house.
Yeah, we're able to lay on the floor. We're good with it. We ain't gonna use our shoes to come up in this house. And I mean, come on, what if you like stepped on shit or something? And then do you fucking people like lay on the same carpet? Just roll around with it? Nasty.
I know this is completely unrelated to MMA, but we will get back on in a second. But just because you said that, I did find it interesting. I saw an interview with Andrew Yang a few months ago with Ronnie Chang from The Daily Show, and he asked him like, if you get elected president, what's going to be the shoe policy in the White House? And I never thought about that. And he had a really good answer because I didn't know this, but he had a really good answer. He said, well, you know, the White House is 2 stories. The first story apparently is like all businesses, like tourists, there's tours, there's certain offices. It's kind of just all business related and for show. The top floor is where like the Lincoln bedroom is and where like you actually live. So he said, well, you know, I'm not going to have all these diplomats and all these people come in, you know, and take their shoes off. But if they're going to go near the living quarters where we actually live, then yeah, you're going to have to take your shoes off to go upstairs. I was like, that seems pretty reasonable. And I would like to see a video of that, people going into the bedroom, taking their shoes off before stepping into the elevator or some shit. But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Or you could take your shoes off or make them like wear booties on their shoes. Yeah, like, hey, cover that up. Put a mask on your fucking shoe.
And I just started thinking about like if that was the case with Yang, like all these, you know, foreigners, all these shit. Well, not even foreigners, Americans. Like, oh shit, we gotta meet the president. I remember you got wear some shoes that you can take off easily because you're gonna have to go upstairs, and you know how he is, you know.
You know, what if shit like that really did happen and like these like diplomats or whoever, like they lose shoes because somebody else took their shoes? Like, stealing people's shoes and shit.
It'd be like a culture shock within our own country and in the goddamn White House nonetheless. It's just the irony. I fucking love it. It's so funny.
Huh. Everybody be eating rice all the time.
So funny.
Like different dishes. And man, come on. I mean, we're kind of adopting Andrew's, you know, policies or the policy that he wanted to create, right? Like the government giving money.
Yeah, it doesn't seem so crazy now, huh?
Right? And people want more of that money, but didn't want to support an Asian man that can do math, so that's your fault.
Because then how are they going to cheat off him?
Oh, shit.
Anyway, back to MMA. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, in regards to the Apex, seems like there's a lot of fights coming up. So this is going to go into our quote-unquote mini matchup segment, so I'll play the jingle. All women's fights, ironically. Yes, there's some men fights that I saw, but it was fighters that I didn't really know or things that were like way too vague to confirm. So these are some fights that look to be happening. They've all been in talks or agreed with it some way. So June 13th at a supposed Apex event, Maria Agapova is going to fight Melissa Gatto, who Reen mentioned earlier. Both UFC newcomers. I've been high on Maria Agapova for a while. I've mentioned her a few times on the podcast. Crazy Kazakhstani girl, fucking wild as shit. Melissa Gatto, I know she was on the Brazilian circuit for a while. She was pretty good. I don't know her record. Anything that Maria Agapova is in, I'm gonna watch. Another fight is happening, another favorite of ours, Julia Avila. I'm gonna call her Julia because I still don't get why Julia is not normal, but Julia is, because nobody says Julio. So Julia Avila is going to fight Cara Rosa also on that supposed June 13th event. So what do you think of these two fights, Reen?
I like it, especially Avila coming back. I like her. She's that geologist chick, right? Geologist?
Yes.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah. The weird one, yeah.
Yeah, I dig her. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not sure what's going on with the Maria fight, but all the other fights seem promising because they kind of live close to the area. Not really the area, but you know what I mean? The states are surrounding.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to get on to that, the following week, June 20th, another supposed Apex event. Raquel Pennington is going to take on Marion Renault, and Roxanne Modafferi is supposed to fight Lauren Murphy. I got a bit to say about these two, but I'll let you start on these ones.
I'm surprised about the Lauren Murphy fight and Roxanne.
Okay, I have similar feelings. Are you surprised that they gave this fight to Murphy, or are you surprised they gave this fight to Modafferi? Because I know essentially it means the same things, but I think there's a difference.
I'm surprised they gave it to Murphy.
Because Modafferi's ranked higher and she's like a legit contender?
And she's been, yeah.
And Murphy didn't win her fight against KGB?
Hello, so you're just gifting her this fight?
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. But and then like Roxanne, I know, will take on anybody, and she doesn't care. And to her
Mhm.
credit, Murphy's always made weight, so I know she. If it was some other girl that probably didn't want to, had a problem, she probably wouldn't want to fight her. I like the fight. It's an interesting fight. I think it could be a kind of a tough fight for Modafferi because Murphy's kind of a similar fighter.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything against Lauren Murphy. Yes, I'm a little bitter that she beat KGB even though she shouldn't have. But I don't know if she beats Roxy. I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm not gonna be pissed because I'm gonna be like, fuck, you weren't even supposed to be here to begin with.
Exactly. That, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that she's going to lose, but Lauren Murphy, I mean, they're almost similar.
And especially that if you go logically about this, KGB should have beat Murphy, so
Yeah.
KGB would probably fight Modafferi next, and she already fought her back in the day in Invicta in her second or third pro fight. I mean, she was so young in the game, and it was a very tight split decision that she probably could have won. And now, with their skill sets, what they are, like, fuck, man, I want to see who the better girl is because I'm still not convinced. I love Roxy, but I don't know if she's better than KGB. Because I don't know if she won that fight, and I don't know if KGB lost that fight either. It's an interesting matchup. I would have loved to seen that way better, but obviously, it is what it is. And then moving on to Pennington and Renault, that's going to be a dogfight, right?
Yeah, but why do I feel like I've seen this before?
I don't think we have.
No,
I know. I
no, I
understand
don't
it.
think so.
It's probably been booked once, but no, we've never seen it.
Okay, maybe that's it. Because I'm like, did they fight before? But I didn't really look into it as much. But
And then I think maybe Pennington, she's had a few rematches, like Holly Holm, Andrade.
mhm.
She's had a few rematches in her day, so it probably feels familiar. And then Renault hasn't fought in a while, I don't think so.
Was it the last time she fought?
Yana,
Yeah, is that the last one?
over a year now.
Oh Lord, I think so. And she's the one that should have won that fight, right? If I recall, because Yana was
Yes.
busted up.
Yeah. So interesting, right? Murphy is getting, well, I don't know. I guess this is a step up for Renault, right? Because Pennington's pretty high up there. I know she lost to Holly Holm, but it wasn't much of a loss.
Yeah, she fought Amanda, so
Yeah, she's a title contender.
yeah, it is a step up on paper for sure.
And I don't give a shit how old Renault is. I'll always believe in her. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because, she's the scariest mom in the world. Maybe it's that little boy inside me, like, yes, mom, yes, you can do it. I won't backtalk you.
Yeah, it was Yana in March 9th.
It's been a long time.
It's been over a year. Yeah. She's had canceled bouts. That's what happened. She was supposed to fight Aldana and Ketlin.
Renault was?
Yeah.
Damn, Renault and Ketlin. Well, then we saw what happened with Ketlin and Aldana, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting though. Again, I do not count out Renault. Like anytime, there's been plenty of fights where I'm like, I don't think she's gonna win this one, but I never count her out. I never think it's a foregone conclusion that she's gonna lose.
Oh shit! She was supposed to fight Ketlin at UFC 249.
Ooh.
But yeah, May 9th.
Well, yeah, a lot of people have been pointing out, and that's the stories that aren't really being covered right now. All the pullouts, because yeah, I mean, of course, you gotta accept it. You gotta expect it. Visa issues, fear,
right?
No cornerman, all kinds of shit.
Yeah, that would have been a step up for Renault too, like fighting Ketlin.
Yeah. And last up on the last female fight, last fight supposedly announced. This one looks pretty set in stone. Sarah McMahon's supposed to fight Aspen Ladd on June 27th, again, possibly at the Apex. Oof. All right, I'm definitely going to let you start here, Ring, because obviously you have a history here.
Is this too soon for Ladd? I was surprised when I saw this on the doc, and I'm like, whoa, this is a huge step up.
Okay, did you think it was too soon when she was supposed to fight Holly Holm?
Nah. Not really. No, because she's one-dimensional.
Yeah, but she still has way more experience than Ladd.
Yeah.
She's a former champion.
Yeah, but
McMahon's not a champion.
No, she's an Olympian. Aspen's going to try to keep her or take her down. She won't be able to.
You know what? Ladd's got really good stand-up too. It's going to be getting better, and McMahon's always had heavy hands. If this is going to be one of those grappler versus grappler, so it's a kickboxing match, I don't know who holds the edge.
I think Sarah, man.
Lad's a little Terminator though, man. She's got some good combos and she can pop.
True, but she's still young. And Sarah being a vet, and she's been submitting people. She's been submitting some tough girls too before she had her child. So
who did she beat? I know she got that arm triangle choke last. Who was it?
God damn it, CSA. Shit.
Oh,
Davis.
Yes.
And then who else did she do that to with the quickness?
I think she was like a newcomer.
She was a young girl too, I think.
Yeah, I think she was a newcomer.
But still, like she'll take you down, she'll beat the shit out of you, and if she has to, she'll submit you. So I think this is gonna be a tough fight.
I think it'll be. There's a possibility it could be a boring fight, but I don't know. Aspen, there's something about Aspen that she just looks like she'll probably go out on her shield before she, like, is obviously in a boring fight. Like she can, obviously, all of a sudden sense that she's in a boring fight, and she'll probably try to turn it up. Probably just because she's so young, like she doesn't want to hear that. Well, then again, there's not going to be any crowd, so who knows? Maybe it'll play out in the most honest way possible. Who knows? I'm interested. Regardless of how, even if it's boring as shit, I think it's interesting. I'm interested.
Oh, I was thinking about Gina Mazzani.
Mazzani, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. Coming back from what, her second or third kid, Sarah?
Second.
Second, yeah. Good on her.
Yep, it'll be her second fight because she beat Lena. And then she's been grappling when she was, out, still trying to come back, get her body back. So
yeah,
she's been active. And then we're not really certain that Aspen has been keeping up with her weight, right? Because she's had weight issues before.
Oh shit, I didn't even think about that. Oh man. And in and in this case, in a pandemic, not that it wouldn't be her fault, but obviously way harder.
Yeah, I mean, she did fairly well the last fight because she was being monitored by the Performance Institute. She was working with them, so yeah, they made sure she got down to that weight, but she doesn't have that now. So I wonder, so those factors.
Last bit of news, not UFC related, so putting this on the back burner here, but looks like Bellator, the future with DAZN is possibly in trouble. There's been some conflicting reports, but so I know you read into this a little bit more, Rain. So is it settled? Is it a 2-year deal that settles this year, or is it next year?
Looks like John Nash cleared it up as an actual 3-year contract with an additional 2-year option. So whatever contract they were talking about, that's going to be up in June. That's not actually true.
So it will be up next year?
Yes, it'll be up next year.
Oh, okay.
So Showtime is like, cool, if you guys need to fulfill that contract, definitely go for it. But we would love to have you back.
Ah, okay. Well, I think it also, people probably jumped the gun. I know there was an original story. I think it was Heavy or whatever. Given the climate, the economy, people, especially with sports, I don't know what to put on. So yeah, it would make sense that they would try to pull the plug, but I guess they can make do with a year. It looks like sports are going to come back, and in MMA's case, the UFC can do it. I'm pretty sure Bellator and ONE and all these promotions will follow suit soon. So maybe it's not all doom and gloom there.
Yeah, interesting that they're trying to make this move. But I guess, Bellator, fighting, I think would be the hot ticket, because we're not sure when we're going to be able to have football come back or basketball to come back. So if this happens, if it continues, I think they'll still be in a good spot next year. I mean, I hope we have a vaccine at the beginning of the year, but hey, if we don't, they'll be in a good spot to have fighting on their network as well. Good that they're actually planning ahead and wanting their X back.
So that's it for MMA. Let's get into our news segments of the week. First up, the headline is Chinese woman takes revenge on ex-boyfriend by dumping tons of onions at his doorstep. Yeah, so this is the most, I don't even want to say childish, because a child is not capable of this. And I don't think would ever think this, but yeah, apparently dude broke her heart, supposedly cheated on her, and she cried for 3 days, and then she dumped over a kilo, like 2,000 pounds of onions at his doorstep, and said, "I've cried for you, so now you cry for me."
She spent money on a truck full of onions. And I was looking at this picture to see, I wonder if he has like a mask on, but no, he doesn't. But I was thinking, like, this is in China. Did this happen recently? What's going on here? Because if he had a mask on like he's supposed to, he wouldn't be smelling any of this shit, right? And then he won't be cutting the onion, so who's going to be fucking crying?
Well, or what if he's like such a, like, he feels so bad, or he's just like kind of a little bitch and is like, you're right, I should cry. So he voluntarily starts cutting him and trying to make himself cry. You don't know. You don't know.
Like, I don't understand this. Like, is this a major burn? I don't
To
think
her,
so.
apparently, because God knows how much money she spent, and then just the logistics of it to transport 1,000, and then just the stores. I mean, I don't know what it's like in China, but over here, like, you can only take so much of certain items because they're trying to ration shit. How do you just go up to the clerk and, yeah, I want 1,000 kilos of onions, and they just give it to you?
Right. So when did this happen? Is she
Or,
really doing this during the pandemic? I mean, especially China. I bet they could use those onions to make a meal instead of
I'm
eating
sure.
questionable items. So yeah, I don't understand what happened here, but you wasted your money, girl. Just
Yeah,
saying.
just, I know there's been a lot of hatred and a lot of confusion with some Asian people, especially with Chinese, but in this case, yeah, a little American revenge might do you good, just key the car, punch out the tires, fucking break the
Mhm.
windows of the car, do what normal people do. Come on.
No, exactly.
That's the first story, the last story here. So this is, again, as Reen indicated, this is kind of a shocker. 65-year-old man dies from injuries from having sex with his 81-year-old male relative, police say. This happened in,
Texas.
yes, Texas of all places. So this is basically like Jussie Smollett on steroids. Apparently, dude got hurt and died from his injuries, and people thought that he had been assaulted, that he got mugged. At least that was just what he claimed. And then the police started looking into some emails, and it looked like the way that this happened was that he was in this gay sadomasochistic relationship with this dude, and he wanted to get like beaten up badly, and this dude did so, and he killed him. And he decided, when he realized that the injuries were real bad, he decided to say, "Oh, that I'm just gonna say that I got mugged to keep him out of it." And then somehow the police ended up finding out that they're somehow related, although they did not say how.
It's Jesse Smollett on dick pills, bro, not steroids. uh,
These guys are freaks. I'm sure they don't even need that. This is some crazy shit.
oh my god, dude. I don't understand what happened here. Like, my first question is like, relative. Like, are you related? Are you like second cousins? Like, is it because of marriage you guys are related? So many questions. Like, is this during the middle of a pandemic? Y'all are that horny?
Oh, people are mad horny during the pandemic, and if you don't believe me, check out Twitter.
Well, to the point where you're like beating the shit out of each other?
Yeah, that's the other question too, right? Like, how long has this been going on? And is this a relatively new kink, or has this shit been going on for like years?
Yo, crazy, man. And
I mean, I know there's sadomasochists out there that, they get whipped, bondage and fucking paddles, and then, they get real crazy with stepping on the balls and whatever. But I don't never heard of people actually beating the shit out of each other. I just thought they like smacked each other around and fucking whipped each other maybe. But this just sounds like he straight up just got just assaulted. And apparently he did, because he died.
yeah, he was in the hospital due to his head injuries. Like, what are you doing with his head? So many questions, man. Like, really? Are you like punching his face? Like, are you doing something? Like, what? What? Really? Why would you want to punch somebody in the face though that you're going to have sex with? I don't get that kind of shit. Like, dude, I like rough sex too, but I don't like my ass get beat, yo. I don't want my ass getting beat. I want to enjoy it. I definitely don't want to be in the hospital too because of it. Shit, unless you're hitting it right, but that's a different story.
Jesus. I I was not expecting this one.
Sorry.
I was not expecting this one, but I loved it.
Hey man, it's getting late. It's 11:30. Okay.
Um, the other thing is, I had forgotten whether he'd been charged or not, but apparently, yeah, he's been charged with aggravated assault of a family member. He declined to speak about the allegation, but said he has an attorney. I want to know where he found that fucking attorney too. The
God
dude that's
damn.
willing to take this job is probably weirder than these motherfuckers.
Shit, probably a relative. Yeah, the only way they got caught was that there was like an email that they found on a personal company computer. Like, hello, what are you doing?
Again, like the Smollett thing, like when they started getting suspicious, when he wouldn't hand the phone over. Why? Because he had texted these dudes like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna mug me."
So crazy though. So crazy. Like, you're using company email to talk about this situation. Not smart. You weren't smart to begin with in the first place, but you really fucked up. So I can only imagine what those people were thinking, how they were reacting when they saw that shit.
You know what? Again, we don't know what the relation is, but it's safe to assume that there's people that know both of them, you know, somewhere in the family. One thing I kept thinking about, what's that funeral going to be like?
I was thinking about that too, like, you know, the next family reunion.
And then obviously during Corona, we can't really have funerals, although I don't know what the rules are in Texas. But
I think that whole state is opened up, right? Or no?
I think for the most part, at least. But I don't know. Funerals, obviously, they can have a lot of people, you know.
Oh, Wild West over there. But yeah, crazy shit, man. Whew. Why?
Yeah, so there's that story to
at least somebody's
you guys feel better about it.
Sorry, keep going.
I feel you there, sister. I feel you there. No worries. Goddamn pandemic.
Oh, man.
Taking away all the great things in life. But anyway, I'm still here. I'm still trooping. So I'm gonna thank you guys for listening. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at juice_MMA. Reen.
Fox with you on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can follow the podcast at iFoxWithJuice, also on Twitter and Instagram. And we're everywhere that podcasts are. And the Joe Rogan new platform of Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes. We're everywhere. We're not going exclusive anywhere yet. Tune in wherever you want. We'll be there almost certainly. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you all next week. Later.
See ya.